Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. In today's video, we're going to be diving into the world of Polkadot to see exactly what's been going on with the price action of DOT. As we get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you're happy to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with that said, done and out of the way, let's dive down into the charts here for Polkadot and see exactly what's going on. So this is just the weekly chart, guys, and I wanted to just kind of highlight a couple of things on this weekly chart. So we have put a trend-based fib extension on here, basically based on this kind of low point that we had over here, the high point that we had, which was been on the 10th of May, pulling back down in our week commencing 19th of July. Okay, so when we take into consideration these trends that we've seen, as in the downtrend, the uptrend, the downtrend, this allows us to see a 4.236 extension coming in at $203. So a slightly higher push than our $177 more conservative price prediction. Again, we are seeing nice traction here with this weekly chart after the initial pullback, and we are fighting a key area right now on the chart. So otherwise, everything on the weekly chart is actually kind of what you'd expect. There's not a huge amount of data available to us, but we can see the trends actually playing out quite nicely and where we could see this next leg actually take us. So when we jump down into our daily chart, right, this is where we can start to see a little bit more of that price action and some interesting things that have been occurring. So what we have is a Stochastic Rsi actually lowering nicely. This is going to be putting us into a pretty good position to continue that growth to the upside in a really strong way at a slightly later stage. We can obviously see the candles here. We have pulled back massively and we had this kind of V shape, right? A good V shape here. Now, when it comes to a V shape patterns like this, you want to kind of, acknowledge exactly what they are, a good bounce to the upside. And obviously when you get a good bounce like this, we're targeting, some of these key areas, like the 618, the 702, the 786. Now, this basically comes in at $34, $38, and $41. This is what we've been talking about for a while, pushing past that $41 range. And this is where we actually have just taken over, right? We pushed past it, we turned it into a support line, okay? And now we're looking to try to get some traction to push up into all-time high. Now, we are a bit stagnant here, just kind of trading sideways whilst we correct a few things. And you can see that there is a lot of resistance where this is a previous area that we were consolidating around, right? You can see this quite heavily in the past, earlier in the year. So right now we are obviously fighting over these areas before we go ahead and actually take out that $49 area of all-time high and move into new price discovery. Now the price target, or the first target that we really have, comes in here at $74, and this is a part of the Fibonacci retracement tool running from the high that we have just up here on the 15th of May down to the low that we set on the 20th of July. Now, when we take those into consideration, we do have that 177 more conservative based price prediction for where Polkadot is likely to end, right? And again, this comes in with $74, $113, and $153. Now, these are price targets that are associated with 1.618, the 2.618, the 3.618, and the 4.236. But again, when we actually had that weekly chart, we were using the trend based, right? And the trends basically indicate slightly higher push towards the $200 range. So we have a conservative price prediction of 177, and the more seasoned traders might actually leave for an overextension into the $200 range. With all that being said, though, once we get into this price discovery, the first thing that we want to be really addressing is that $74.19 price target, the 1.618. Now, on the daily chart, lowering that stochastic to a decent place actually means that we're going to have a pretty similar position to where we were when we had the spike from the 20th of July through to the 21st of August. This run that we had with Polkadot here is something that we could start to see happen again as we lower that Stochastic Rsi to a nice position ahead of that surge to the upside. Now, at this point, we're going to jump over to the advice.io dashboard just to take a look at the underlying value of cryptocurrency, and we're going to take a look at Polkadot specifically. If you're not familiar with advice.io, there's a link in the description below. It's completely free to sign up, and you're going to get a lot more insight on your cryptocurrencies. So for Polkadot here, it's an A3 cryptocurrency, which means it's top tier. Okay, so it's definitely up there with the other great projects of the space right now. As we come down, we have an AMI-HAD ratio that's an A2 rating. This A2 rating AMI-HAD ratio is indicating there's no problems with liquidity. Buying and selling Polkadot should be pretty fluid and without any issues whatsoever. As we come across, we have a fear and greed index. This fear and greed index is at B3, which basically means it's relatively neutral, but it is on the cusp of succumbing to fear. Okay, so basically people are getting potentially frustrated. This is the sentiment right now. It's People are, buying and selling. There's no kind of swing one way or another. It's not definitely fearful. It's not definitely greedy. It's quite neutral, but we are on the lower tier of neutral, almost entering into the world where more people are likely to sell than buy. This is an interesting metric because when we pair this up with our Sharpe ratio at this A2 rating on our Sharpe ratio is indicating to us that the rewards outweigh the risks, and we might want some exposure to Polkadot. Now, obviously, when we start to see a potential Polkadot slip down in Fear and Greed Index to a fearful situation, then that might be fear that we want to buy up and buy some Polkadot at a cheaper rate. I can understand people's frustrations with us potentially trading sideways for a few days, and it's not as fast as maybe people might like. But, this is not gambling, it's investing, and you invest in the technology, the team, and speculate on, where we think the value is likely going to be in the future. And for Polkadot right now, it's actually indicating to us that exposure to Polkadot is a pretty good idea, but the sentiment in the space is quite neutral, on the cusp of fear. Could be an interesting buying opportunity before we do actually take that next surge to the upside. Now, the moving averages are looking very good at an A2 rating, and the profitability is right up there as an A1 rating. So overall, there's no issues other than that, potential slippage in the Fear and Greed Index. So when we come back to our charts and we can see that we're trading sideways here, you can see potentially some frustrations with people. We're not setting all-time highs just yet. But again, this is actually lining up some pretty big moves with Polkadot. So as we come down into our hourly chart, we can actually see that things are going to be really spiking up today by the looks of it. So we did have a couple of things on here. We thought this is an area that we might come down to and enter into a buy zone. We didn't quite get there. We kind of bounced from it and kind of left it behind. We then obviously went above the 786 area. This is that $41 range, and turned this into a support level. As you can see, all this sideways trading here, we've hit this and turned it into support, moved up nicely. We've lowered our Stochastic Rsi into the oversold area, and we're ready to take that next surge to the upside by the looks of it on this hourly chart. So what we need now is good volume coming in, and as we can see here, if I just zoom in on this, we can see that basically as the price moved up, the volumes were moving up with it, and when the price kind of went down, the volumes went down. The price went up, volume went up, and then we've reduced the volume on the way down. This protected our price as we lowered that stochastic. Now what we're looking for is a good surge in volume, and if we can get that surge in volume in a really significant way like we did over here, this was been 6 days ago, for example, this good surge to the upside here with good volume coming in. If we have that here, we can take advantage of the space of the stochastic and push us up towards the all-time high. I do feel that Polkadot is on the cusp of all-time high territory, just as we are now trading at $43. The all-time high comes in at 49. It could be that we're only a couple days away from setting Polkadot's new all-time high and heading towards our $74 price target of the 1.618. Overall, everything's looking very, very good for Polkadot right now. But if we are ever in doubt, it's important that we zoom out. We don't pay attention too much to what is going on that hourly chart. Ultimately, there's good structure going on here. We are looking for pretty good price targets on the journey to the upside. If I grab hold of my price range from our current position up to $177, we are looking at another 305% in gains. Obviously, as we come closer to the end of the bull run, things are going to get slightly harder to kind of dollar cost average good positions. Yeah, some opportunities here to double, maybe triple your money at this point. But of course, it's the bear market where you're going to accumulate massive positions in these cryptocurrencies. So as the bull run comes to an end, start thinking about what your exit strategies are going to look like. And obviously, consider what you want to do in that bear market. We are going to be building up very significant positions here on the channel during that bear market, and basically, doing a lot more research on projects that are going to potentially have additional value added to them in the 2025 bull run. If that sounds like something that you want to get into, then do check out the channel during the bear market, and would love to have you join us for all of that accumulation and everything that goes on there. But right now, as we finish off this bull run, some exciting times with some additional percentage gains to be made, and then by early 2022, when the bull run finishes, we'll be slipping into the bear market and doing the accumulation thing that we usually do, and building up very good positions ahead of the bull run, where we can start to then talk about how we make those thousands upon thousands of percent gains on the portfolio. So guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found it useful and informative, then definitely do go ahead and hit that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel and you want to make sure you're kept up to date with everything, make sure you subscribe, tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.